All right. Back in the Range Rover, guys. Gonna do this quick coaching video for you talking about ingrates. People who are just ungrateful, unthankful, narcissistic, people you've helped out there, both family members, friends, people that you've been there for their entire lives that just turn around and piss on you for no reason at all, okay? So in tonight's coaching video, we are going to talk about why people are ingrates, how they become ingrates, and what to do about it. Because I've experienced this myself, right? Being a successful guy, I've been able to coach other guys, right? Not only in business, but dating, pickup, life, right? I've had a lot of friends along the way, even family members, right? Who have turned around and pissed on me after I've helped them, right? I can remember one of my best friends growing up, this guy that I thought we were boys, man, and I helped this guy meet his girlfriend at the time, who he just totally fell for. I mean, this chick was like, she was actually a friend of mine. She was a pretty good looking girl. I wasn't attracted to her. Her name was Tracy, and I introduced her to a friend of mine. Well, he was my best friend at the time, thinking that they would be the perfect couple, right? I was like, hey, I'm not really attracted to her, but you should date her. So he goes off and he starts dating her. They become a couple. They become boyfriend and girlfriend. And next thing you know, he starts turning around and trying to sabotage me, or basically sabotage my relationship with her. Whereas I met her before he met her. Obviously, I introduced her to him, and she became his girlfriend at the time. And because he was insecure and he was jealous, he turned around and he was like, hey, I don't want you talking to Matt. Oh, Matt did this. Matt said this about you. And, oh, Matt's done this in the past. All which were lies, by the way. And I can honestly say that now. I mean, this was over 20 years ago, but I can honestly say that like everything he told her about me was a lie in order to get her to stop talking to me, to get her to not like me. Why? Because he was afraid, he was scared of losing her at some point. So basically he was doing mate guarding on his own best friend that introduced him to her, right? So that's just a very quick example of an ingrate. You might have had friends like this yourself that you've tried to set up, tried to hook them up with a girl, and then they've turned around and piss on you. Or you might have had family members, right? I've had this too. Family members that I've helped, basically like raise them, right? Taught them everything they know. Never did anything but love them and take care of them and watch over them. And then they turn around and they piss on you, right? You might have had kids like this, right? Kids that, and I think a lot of parents can relate to this, right? If you're a parent yourself and you have grown kids now, and this isn't to say all kids, this isn't to say all family members, this isn't to say all people are going to turn around and piss on you when you try to help them, because it's just not true. I would say 99% of people that you help out there are going to be very, very grateful. Okay? They're going to be very grateful and very thankful that you help them. That's called having character. Okay? It's called having character. And for me personally, the people that have helped me in life, I've always been thankful for. I've always given them props. I've always given them shine. My uncle, well, not my uncle, but my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law, Chris, who is no longer with our family. He was married to my sister. He was an entrepreneur. I remember I was in high school at the time, and he really gave me direction in life. And he really helped establish just kind of like a masculine figure to follow, because I looked up to him, right? He was a guy who was successful. He came to my parents' house in a Mercedes. Never seen a Mercedes in my life. And he was the first one that I was like, or never seen a Mercedes at my parents' house in my life. He was the first one that pulled up there. And I was like, man, who is this guy? And he taught me a lot. And to this day, even having not seen him for a while now, for many years, I still give him props. I still give him credit. And Chris, if you're listening, I love you, miss you. Still think about you, bud. But I give Chris props. And, you should as well too to any mentors who have helped you. I mean, a lot of you guys, you drop comments on my videos, right? You drop comments on my Instagram, especially at Matt Cross Official, if you're not following me yet. You drop comments telling me about how I've helped you, how I've saved your life, or you were about to commit suicide. Oh my God, I found you, thank God, you know, and all this stuff. And you guys throw shine my way because I've helped you along the way, right? I would say most of you have, like 99.9% of you have. And then there's that 0.1% that turns around and like will piss on me, right? It's like after everything I did, they'll turn around like, screw you, screw your channel, screw everything you taught me, screw you, right? Just for whatever reason. Well, it's not for whatever reason. The reason why people are ingrates, the reason why people don't appreciate you after you help them is twofold. Number one, they lack character. Because when you lack character, you have an inability to express gratefulness towards those who have helped you. Okay? When you lack character, you have an inability. You lack the capacity, you lack the character to express thankfulness to the people who have mentored you and helped you. Okay? The second reason why somebody would become an ingrate is because, I'm going to close this for a second. The second reason why is because they are narcissistic. Make no mistake about it. I mean, usually, in most cases, having no character and being narcissistic go hand in hand. Okay? Having no character and being narcissistic go hand in hand. Because when you're narcissistic, you think the entire world revolves around you. You see everybody else as a reflection of yourself. You cannot separate yourself from other people because you see everybody as a reflection of yourself, right? And I had a family member who like was trying to call me out basically at one point and was saying, hey, you know, if Matt's doing so well, how come he doesn't have a brand new 2021 Range Rover? Why doesn't he have a Bugatti? Why doesn't he have a mansion if he's doing so well? And it's like, because if the reason why they would say something like that, just using that as an example, is because when they're in a position of having financial resources, right, that is what they would do with that money. They would just basically splurge it away. You know, they would just basically spend lavishly on themselves. And this is also the reason why they're broke, right? Because most people who have money, most people who are financially well off, most people who are crushing it, right? Most people who have a 7-figure business, right? Most people who are doing very well in life, most people who are in the 1%, believe it or not, these people aren't out there buying bottles of Cristal, making it rain, you know, buying Gucci watches and shit like that. That's what poor people do. That's a poor person's mentality, right? Just a quick financial lesson for you. When you start to have financial excess, when you start to become, you don't even have to be wealthy. When you start to become rich, when you're making, you know, 500,000 a year, 600, 700,000 a year, right? When you start making that type of money, you start to feel less of the need to prove yourself, right? It's like knowing how to fight. You ever ask guys who know how to fight? Those are the guys that fight the least, right? The guys who get in fights the most are guys who can't fight because they're constantly trying to have to prove themselves. But guys who can fight, those are the guys who are able to avoid fights. For me personally, I grew up getting picked on a lot, right? When I was in grade school, I've told this story before. And then I started taking martial arts. I started taking karate. I learned to fight, right? I learned to fight. And from that point on, once I was able to fight, I noticed that I didn't really have to fight anymore because I was able to fight. It's almost like an aura you give off about yourself, right? It's kind of like having money. You have an aura about yourself you give off where you don't need to wear the Gucci watch anymore. You don't need to get the Louis Vuitton purse. You don't need to, you know, buy the Bugatti, right? I mean, look at what I bought. I bought a DeLorean. I bought a DeLorean recently. With the money I spent on that DeLorean, I could have bought a Ferrari, right? Could have bought a Ferrari. With the money I have sitting around now, I could basically just buy myself a house if I wanted to. I mean, right now I'm laying off on real estate because I don't know what's going to happen with the market, to be honest with you. I was actually just going to buy another, like a condo a couple of years ago, and then my income started shooting up. And then I was like, oh shit, I could buy like a whole other house, and I could do this, and I could buy it cash. And that's another thing. I don't like debt, so I like to buy things cash. So I like to just kind of like hoard up my money, and then I have enough to just go buy it cash. I don't like to like take a 30-year mortgage. I don't do shit like that. I just like to buy the house cash. I kind of have the Dave Ramsey thought of mind, right? I have the Dave Ramsey principle set in my head where I don't like debt, especially at my age. I don't like debt. Maybe if you're in your 20s, you could hot dog it a little bit, get a 30-year mortgage, pay that sucker off. But in my position, there's really no reason to take on debt. I'd rather just pay the thing cash. And I did a coaching video on my channel talking about if you can't buy it twice, you cannot afford it, right? So when it comes to that, just make sure we stay in focus here. Once you start to have money, it's just like when you learn how to fight, you just have less to prove. You feel like, you've already proven it to yourself, right? And so, yeah, anyway, I had a family member who was like, if he's doing so well, and it's like, dude, my income statements are pretty public. I mean, I posted my YouTube ad revenue I posted on my Instagram actually, and as well as some of my income statements. So it's all there, man. You can see it. It's all there. It's public knowledge, man. I don't hide anything, right? And it's not a screenshot either, because I put in the dates for like this, like for the last 30 days, this is how much I made and whatnot. But again, I mean, this is all public. So, yeah, there's really no argument there. But not to get too far off topic, like I was saying, when it comes to dealing with people who are ingrates, people who are unthankful, I mean, it can make you feel sour, right? Especially if it was somebody who was close to you that you helped out, or say somebody like my best friend who I hooked him up with his girlfriend. It would have been easy at that point to be like, you know what? I'm never hooking up another guy friend of mine ever again. Could have been easy, but I didn't do that. I was like, okay, I'm going to continue to help my buddies. I'm going to continue to help other people. And you know what? I just realized, that every once in a while you're going to come across somebody who has no character and who is a narcissist and is just an ingrate, and is not going to be thankful no matter how much you do for them. And they're always, this is another thing about ingrates, always playing the victim. Oh, it's not my, poor me. I've neglected my whole life. Poor me, I'm a victim. Poor me. These people never go anywhere, guys. They never make it in life. Why? Because they have a lack of self-awareness. They cannot see past themselves. This is why they're narcissists. They see everybody else as a reflection of themselves. And this is why I was bringing up the money aspect, because like when somebody calls you out like that, from in my case example, how come he doesn't have a Bugatti? How come he doesn't have a mansion? It's like, because that's what you would do if you had the resources that I have. You would go just splurge the money away, and it would be gone by tomorrow. You would buy all this fancy shit that you don't need just to prove yourself, and then you would be left with nothing, and that's why your bank account is where it is now. Nowhere, right? This is why you don't have money. This is why financially you are sucking at life, is because that is your mindset. You have a poor person's mentality, as Robert Kiyosaki would say. You have a poor man's mindset. This is why you are not succeeding in life. And guys like myself, guys who follow me, guys who subscribe to me, guys who love me, guys who thank me, guys who are not ingrates, are doing the same, right? They're doing the same. But like I said, when you have people who are ingrates in your family, friends, whatever, that are they're just so caught up in their own ego, right? They're just so delicate. You have to like handle them with like kitten gloves. You can't, first of all, let me tell you this. You can't change them, right? You can't change somebody like that. And people like that never change, unfortunately. I'm going to tell you that right now. They just don't change, man. And sometimes these could be your own kids, right? These could be your kids who you raise. This is why a lot of people are like, I don't want to have kids. They're just going to grow up to hate me after I've given them the world. And that's totally understandable. But you know what? There are also kids out there and people out there who will be like so thankful that you helped them. It'll be like a godsend, like, oh my God, thank you. You came into my life. I read my comments all the time when guys are thanking me, and guys are like, oh my God, Em, I love you. You're like a brother to me. You're like a dad to me. Oh, I'd love to meet with you. You guys follow me on Matt Cross Official. Even the guys I run into on the street while I'm shooting, right? While I'm shooting, when I'm filming, sometimes I happen to like walk by a guy who's like, oh my God, it's you. Then, and then I uploaded to my Instagram with his permission, of course, right? I uploaded to my Instagram and you could see the guy's reaction, right? And it's like, it's stuff like that that keeps me going, and the guy tells me his story, like, oh, my wife left me and, she was like ready to divorce rape me. Then I found you, I was like on the verge of jumping off a building and I found you and I'm so thankful. And that is what really just kind of keeps me going, right? I've said this before. I'm acquiring other websites right now. I don't really have to do this anymore, but I love doing it because I love being part of the manosphere. I love connecting with other guys. I love this little like red pill tribe. Well, it's kind of like a big red pill tribe that we've got going now. And I love seeing your comments. I love running into you guys in field, especially when I'm in Vegas. It's so awesome when you guys come up to me. I'm in Vegas and you're able to kind of triangulate where I am when I'm live streaming. And you guys are like, hey, I love you, Em. Thank you very much. It just removes all of the other people, I wouldn't say like there's a whole bunch of other people, but like the handful of people, put it that way, the handful of people in my life that I've come across who were just, no matter what you did for them, they're just ungrateful, right? They're just ingrates, right? And this, like, again, I'm not just talking about friends, but also family members, man. I've had family members like this. It's sad, right? It's sad. You probably have it too. This is why I tell you guys, just because somebody's family doesn't mean that they're not going to try to treat you like a piece of shit, right? It doesn't matter. Okay, but the point of this coaching video is to not get sour on that, okay? Even if they're your own kid, right? And you raise them like your own kid, don't get sour on it, right? Still go out there and still add value to the world, still help people out, still help guys out, still help out humanity when you can, still try to add value in the world, make it a better place, right? And just understand that, every once in a while you're going to come across some narcissistic, ungrateful, no character having individual who you might have helped their entire life, who's going to turn around and piss on you. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because life goes on, right? You want to focus on the people who are grateful that you're in their lives and are thankful that you were there and that love you for it. Okay? Your friends, family, kids of yours, stepkids even, that are just thankful, like, hey man, thank you, right? And I mean, even though you would think like that's just something you would do, right? That's just something you should say. You should say thank you. Believe it or not, that takes character, right? That takes character, especially these days. A lot of these people, like especially a lot of these kids growing up, have been spoiled rotten their entire lives. We're living, they're basically part of what I call the participation trophy generation, right? They're basically the participation trophy generation. They didn't really have to work hard for anything, right? And everything that comes out of their mouth is coming from a frame of victimhood. Like, oh, poor me, right? Because they're weak. They're weak, right? And they lack that character to just be able to thank those people who helped them along the way. And if you're one of those people and you kind of feel like they pissed on you, you know what? That's okay, right? That's okay, because that's their karma. Okay, that's their karma. There's a great karmic saying that says, how you treat me is your karma. How I respond to you is my karma. So think about that. How you treat me is your karma. How I respond to you is my karma, right? And that could be taken good or bad, right? If you treat people like shit, don't expect good things to happen in your life. And I look at the people who are ingrates, by the way, like just from my own personal examples that I've given here today. And their lives are not going anywhere. They're not really doing anything with their lives. They're not, they're struggling in life. They're struggling, right? And then it's like they see you succeeding and it pisses them off even more that you're succeeding. It's like, why are you succeeding? Because good things happen to good people, right? Good things happen to good people. So if you're succeeding in life, it's probably because you're a good person, right? It's probably because you're a good person. Are you perfect? Absolutely not. I'm not perfect either, right? But we try to be. We try to do the right thing. And that's what it comes down to, having character. You try to do the right thing. When you're wrong, you have to admit when you are wrong. You have to be man enough to admit when you're wrong. You have to have the character to admit when you're wrong, especially if it's a family member or a dad or a father figure you had in your life that had helped you and basically raised you. Don't piss on that person. I mean, if you do, you're a piece of shit. I hate to say it, right? If you had somebody in your life, whether it was your real dad, stepdad, older brother, right, who basically raised you, and you turn around and piss on that person because you think everything's about you, and you narcissistically self-reflect everybody and self-project all of your worst traits onto other people because you're narcissistic and you lack character, hey, that's on you, okay? That's on you. Have character, gentlemen. Have character, right? When it comes to people who've helped you along the way, thank them. Send them a quick note. Hey, man, I was thinking about you today. Just thought I'd say thanks. And I appreciate the fact that you were in my life. Yeah, I know our lives are busy these days. We don't have time to see each other, but I appreciate the fact that you helped me. And I wanted to let you know that, right? It's called having character. But people who don't have character can't do that because it's all about them. Like, oh, but this one time he did this to me. Oh, he pissed me off, and all this other stuff. It's because you lack character. You can't do it. Okay? You lack character. And that's something my mentor taught me. A couple of my mentors, they're like, hey, when people help you along the way, you say thank you. Even my dad taught me that. My dad was like, hey, people helped you. You got to let them know that you're grateful. Okay? Do not turn around and piss on them. So, with that said, I'm going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is Matt Cross signing out from the Range Rover. It's nice to be back in this car. I've been driving the DeLorean most of the time. So, nice to be back in this car. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you've been in a situation, especially yourself, where you've helped somebody along the way and they've not been very thankful towards that, let me know. Let me know your story below and kind of share it. I think a lot of guys have had similar experiences, but I wanted to do this coaching video because a few of you guys have kind of talked about this topic and I've experienced it myself. So I thought I'd kind of make a very quick impromptu video about it and share with our tribe here. Share with our awesome, growing, expanding, transformational tribe, Red Pill tribe. So until next time, this is M, aka Matt Cross, and don't forget to smash that like button below. Also hit that notification bell right next to it so you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on my YouTube channel. More importantly, guys, like I said, drop those comments below. I want to hear your story. I want to hear if you've been in this situation, whether it was maybe even your own child, right? Maybe your own child who kind of just turned on you once you get older. Or maybe somebody you mentored, or maybe somebody that, you helped. Maybe somebody you loaned money to, right? Just turned around and pissed on you. Let me know your story, okay? And like I said, for all you guys following me, it's time for me to be thankful and thank you for the support that you've continued to give my channel, my dating channel, my alpha male channel, all the love you've shown me here on YouTube, as well as my Instagram and my Facebook. I want to thank all of you guys and just tell you guys I really appreciate you. I love you guys, and I'm just happy to connect with you guys at this moment in time, and and I just look forward to many more years of helping each other grow, expand, improve, and become those high value men that we constantly talk about, right? Just constantly get better and better every single day, right? So I'm not going to do a plug at the end of this coaching video like I normally do. I'm just going to wrap up here because I think it's a nice sentiment. Just want to say thank you to you guys, and peace out.